Threaten my friend with revenge porn. I'll ruin your whole damn life. My very good friend, who is one of the kindest people I know, made a few slightly dumb mistakes in trusting someone she met online. She sent some pictures to a guy she thought she could trust, knowing only his first name, his screen name, and roughly where he lived and the type of work he did. He wasn't in our country, but he had indicated that he would be traveling for work to a city near us shortly. They had even made some plans to meet up. However, when she started noticing some red flags and decided to back out, this guy turned nasty. He threatened to publish her pictures online if she didn't comply with his demands. My friend was devastated and terrified. She came to me for help, knowing that I am, incidentally, an attorney. Determined to protect my friend and make this scumbag regret his actions, I got to work. I knew I had to gather as much information about him as possible, so I started with what little we knew. Armed with his screen name and a couple of pictures he had sent her, I began my search. First, I found his TikTok page. From there, I was able to link to his Instagram account, where he had carelessly used his full name. That discovery led me to his LinkedIn profile, which confirmed his place of work. One of the pictures he sent her showed him wearing a polo shirt with his company's logo on it, further solidifying his identity. With his LinkedIn profile in hand, I dug deeper into his professional connections and found the email addresses of his company's CEO, VP of HR, Operations Manager, and Public Relations Manager. I compiled all the evidence I had gathered, screenshots of his threats, snippets of their conversation showing his username, and the picture of him in the branded polo shirt. I also included pictures he had sent her of his motorcycle, complete with the license plate visible, and a picture of his work laptop displaying his Outlook calendar and proprietary information. To make my case even stronger, I included screenshots of him discussing a workplace incident, time-stamped messages, and pieces of dialogue where he bragged about having sex with an ex at his workplace. He also talked about his plans to meet my friend in his office for the same purpose. I added images he had taken at his workplace that showed non-consenting employees in the background. With all this information compiled, I drafted an email on behalf of my client, detailing his actions and attaching all the incriminating evidence. I made it clear that his threats to my friend constituted a serious violation of her privacy and dignity, and I wasn't going to let it slide. In the email, I informed his employer that I would be forwarding all this information to the local law enforcement authorities in his country. Additionally, since he had indicated plans to travel to the United States soon, I would be sending this evidence to the local office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Given that my friend is a U.S. citizen and these threats were made against her on U.S. soil, they constituted a federal crime. I made it crystal clear that if they continued with his employment and facilitated his travel to the U.S., I would ensure that federal law enforcement would be waiting for him upon arrival. This wasn't an idle threat. One of the assistant U.S. attorneys for our region happens to be a law school buddy of mine. Armed with his license plate number and other identifying information, I knew exactly where he lived and planned to contact his local authorities the next day. I wanted to make sure that every possible avenue was pursued to bring this predator to justice. My friend, initially scared and anxious, watched in awe as I systematically dismantled this guy's life. You see, when you mess with my friend, you mess with me, and I'm not someone you want to cross. It took me only a few hours to uncover his identity and gather enough evidence to take him down. The next day, I reached out to the local authorities in his country, providing them with all the information and evidence I had collected. They were more than willing to take action, especially given the severity of the threats and the potential for this guy to target other victims. They assured me that they would investigate the matter thoroughly and take appropriate legal action. Meanwhile, I kept my promise and contacted the FBI. My law school buddy, the assistant U.S. attorney, was more than eager to help. He assured me that they would monitor the situation closely and be prepared to take action if this guy set foot on U.S. soil. Back in my friend's life, things started to calm down. She felt a sense of relief knowing that this predator was being dealt with and that she had someone in her corner willing to fight for her. It wasn't long before she received confirmation from his employer that he had been terminated. They expressed their shock and disgust at his behavior and assured us that they were fully cooperating with the authorities. It didn't end there. The local authorities in his country acted swiftly, and within a few days, they had gathered enough evidence to arrest him. Charges were filed, and he found himself facing a slew of legal troubles. His life was falling apart, and there was no escaping the consequences of his actions. A few weeks later, I received a call from my buddy at the FBI. He informed me that the predator had attempted to enter the United States, unaware that a warrant had been issued for his arrest. True to my word, federal law enforcement was waiting for him at the airport. He was taken into custody immediately upon arrival, facing extradition and prosecution for his crimes. Throughout this ordeal, I stayed in close contact with my friend, offering her support and reassurance. She was incredibly grateful and relieved to see justice being served. She had been through a harrowing experience, but knowing that the predator was facing the full force of the law gave her a sense of closure. This entire episode served as a powerful reminder that justice can be swift and unrelenting when you have the right tools and knowledge. It also highlighted the importance of standing up for those who are vulnerable and ensuring that predators cannot hide behind a veil of anonymity. To the predator who thought he could intimidate and threaten my friend, you underestimated the power of determination and the reach of the law. It took me only a few hours to turn your life upside down and ensure that you face the consequences of your actions. You messed with the wrong people, and now you're paying the price. In the months that followed, my friend began to rebuild her life, free from the fear and anxiety that had plagued her during that dark period. She found strength in the support of her friends and family and gradually regained her confidence. She even started volunteering at a local organization that helps victims of cyberbullying and online harassment, determined to use her experience to help others. As for the predator, he faced a lengthy legal battle that resulted in a significant prison sentence. His reputation was ruined, and his career was in shambles. He learned the hard way that actions have consequences, and the internet is not a shield for malicious behavior. Through this experience, I was reminded of the importance of vigilance and the power of standing up for what is right. No one deserves to be threatened or intimidated, and those who prey on others must be held accountable. My friend may have made a few mistakes, but she found strength and resilience in the face of adversity. And I was honored to stand by her side, fighting for justice every step of the way.